All right, in a previous series of videos, we did one where we created some stuff on the front end using cursor. With second set of videos, or second video, we created a few automated tests. You can still see them running right here, where they recently ran. Those are also created with cursor. Here we're going to do a backend call chain. We're going to extend the system to support the storing of users' hours. We're going to store those users' hours as kind of a function of date and project and person. So the first thing I'm going to do in here is I'm going to say add a new database model for person, project, hour, item. This entity should link to person or to a user. And it should link to a project. Record should store the date of the hours. Record should also store two types of hours: billable hours and non-billable hours. Both hours column should be decimals. That'll allow us to have fractions of the numbers. We don't want to necessarily store those as integers. Let's see what it does. And I do have everything set up. Kind of there's a strategy here. We'll fire up the cursor editor and ask it to do this for us. Now it should create some records in this entities for us, but we'll see. And it did do one thing that I've seen it mess up quite a few times, but it got it right. It created this record. It has a date, a user, a project. It has a date here, which would be the spent date. Non-billable hours as a number. Billable hours as a number. These are both decimals in the database. Number is the JavaScript or TypeScript version of that. User ID is a string. Project ID is a string. The ID itself is a string. It's a unique ID for there. The one thing it got right this time that I've seen it mess up, you have to find this. It's under access module here. It did put this person, project, hour, item here. In my own personal experience kind of playing with this, I've seen it mess that up a few times, but I keep trying to hint at it with the extra data, so maybe it's finally getting it there. Now it gives us a database record we can use. But now let's see if we can create something to pull the data for that. And I'm going to ask it to add CRUD calls to the project access service to support reading and writing person, project, hour, item, entity, records. See what it does. This will be the next phase of it. See what it does. Looks like it's updating our project access service. And let's accept them. I don't see any errors, which is good. Our runner is still running. And, oops, got a lot of stuff here in our debug console, but that's fine. If I go to our API docs. Next thing we're going to look at is our project. Now our project has a lot of things here. We're going to be adding another one to this API, and we're going to do that by asking Cursor to do that for us. Person project detail items using item using the project controller manager. Route should be API slash project slash project ID slash. I'm going to look at it just to see how the rest of these have been handled. Project ID. And I'm going to go back to Cursor and do person hours is what I'm just going to call it, like this, and see if it creates these records for us, or gives us an API to do this. Now there's nothing magic that this is doing here. There's absolutely nothing that would stop us from building out everything that it's doing here ourselves. And to be honest, everything it's doing here ourselves is pretty cookie cutter stuff. So it wouldn't be a huge ask to go through and do this on our own. It'd be just time consuming. This is purely a time saver at this point. Click accept all. What did it do? I'm gonna go down here, project controller. And if I scroll probably to the bottom, where all this green, all this new, I can see all these new items. And it looks like they're probably correct. If I go to here, look here, it still has the same things. I need to refresh. Scroll down to project. Now it has these person hour items. And it is doing this, and I've told it to do it this way using kind of standard REST format. And we have person hours, it'll get all the person hours. Post, it'll create one. Post will tend to do a create. If we do this, get with an ID, it will return a single. With this, we'll update one, and delete. Surprisingly, we'll delete one. If we look into here, it does support passing a project ID, or requires it, how many to take, how many to skip, and some where conditions and stuff. It gets all of that in there for us without us having to do it. That's, just kind of solves some problems. There's a 0 in here that is difficult. But again, it's a pretty good time saver for us. Feel free to give the Cursor editor a try. I think it has some cool features like this, and yeah, good luck.